2 months ago, I downloaded Unreal Engine with the plan to make my own racing game. 1 week later, I had made this, my first level with a drivable car that I designed, and since then, I continued working on it, running multiple tests and studied how to create a fully working time attack racing game, and today, I finally have a playable version of my own game, Apex Rush. Right, so the plan from the beginning was to make something that you guys can play and also compete for the best times on. And of course, this all went very smooth. I had 0 issues. There were no bugs or errors or anything. It was just a very pleasant experience. No, but when I began this project, I honestly didn't expect it to turn out as good as it did, in my opinion. This has definitely been a super fun and challenging experience for me working on this project. So let's dive into where I'm at today and what I've been working on for the past few weeks. To begin with, Apex Rush was meant to have like a low poly graphic look, but since then I've added more realistic assets for the environment such as ultra dynamic sky and weather, landscape materials and foliage, and therefore the car kinda looked out of place. And that's when I received a DM on Instagram from 7HC asking if I wanted an upgraded model of the car. So I sent him some reference photos, some ideas to maybe make it more like an off-road type vehicle with a custom look, and well, he delivered. The amount of detail he put into this car is insane, and it's kind of a shame that you don't really see it all when you play. But it instantly made the game experience a lot better having this beautiful car in the game. Now, we still kept some of the low poly look for the car, but obviously a lot more detailed, which I think when you mix these with the sort of higher detail assets in the game, I think that makes the game look really good and also make it a bit more unique. Now, when I added in the new car, I quickly realized that my handling didn't really do it justice. Like, obviously, I have this beautiful car model, so I have to have the handling be very good too. Otherwise, sort of, what's the point, you know? So I completely swapped out the vehicle movement component to a more advanced one, which allows you to tweak a few more things and get more information out of the car as you're playing and working on the game. Now, as I was doing this, I also fine-tuned the steering ratio and input so it's not too sensitive when you're going too fast, so you don't just kind of spin out like crazy. I also increased the brake and handbrake torque so you can brake a bit harder, but then I also lowered the grip on the tires a little bit so you can actually slide a bit now. Before, it was just kind of static. You were like glued to the ground. Now you can actually like kind of slide a little bit. I was also gonna add skid marks and smokes for when you slide, but I didn't really have time for that. But yeah, I do want to add that in the future for sure. Now, for some reason which I don't understand, as I was doing this, the controller support, so you can play on a like PS4 controller, completely disappeared. So for now, you can only play on keyboard and mouse, but I mean, that's what I've been playing on the whole time and it feels great. So I'm gonna try and add controller support later on as a little update maybe. Since the new car is equipped with a V8 engine, I wanted to make an engine sound to match it, but it turned out that this was actually really tricky. First, I was going to use this V8 engine that I found for Fmod, which is a cool software where you can set the transitions for the sounds a bit easier than doing it in Unreal, and then you can type in the RPMs to which sound you want to make, and yeah, you can sort of play around with it in the software and actually make some pretty cool sounds. Like I said, this was kind of tricky, so I did just end up using meta sounds directly in Unreal Engine, and I just ended up settling on this sound right here. So it takes this looped sound and then it just pitches it up and down depending on the RPM of the engine. I also fine-tuned this sound a little bit in FL Studio because it had some pretty harsh frequencies which sounded quite annoying when you're going faster. So yeah, I turned it from this to this. Some other quick things that I fixed for the car was an impact sound when you hit walls or land from a big drop, which is also made in meta sound in Unreal Engine that has a randomized pitch on every hit, so it doesn't get too repetitive just hearing the same sound over and over again when you hit the edge. Headlights for the car that you can toggle on and off, which does look really cool at night and in the rain. Finally fixed the crazy bug that happened whenever I crashed into something with way too much speed. The car would just spin out like crazy, which drove me insane. But I just had to tweak the max velocity settings, and now you can actually do some really big jumps and land super clean. So yeah, maybe you guys can even try some stunts in this game. Now for the racetrack, I did give it a small upgrade. As you can see, I changed the color of it and I also gave it a nicer shape on the edges. I also made the track wider and more slim on some parts just so it fits better with the other obstacles in the world. Now I did have to get rid of one of my favorite jumps in the game, which is of course the Leap of Faith. This is one of my favorite sections on the track where I had this massive ramp launching the car straight up and then landing in a ramp on the other side once it's tilted over. Now the issue with this jump was that it was very inconsistent, which sucks for racing games. Sometimes the car wouldn't tilt forward at all and sometimes it would just flip too far. So instead I added something which I think looked even cooler. So after the big jump, you hit this ramp that flips you up to this platform before the new checkpoint. I also added some wheels there to sort of catch you if you go way too far or slide over there. So yeah, I'm still really happy with how this part of the track turned out. I raced up the tunnel that was originally in the water, and I added these pipes in it that you have to dodge before flying out for the next checkpoint, just to add some more difficulty in this section. For the checkpoints, I'm super stoked because I finally managed to put together a system that gives you the time it took you to reach a specific checkpoint, which of course makes it a lot more easier to track if you're improving on your run. Now this ended up being one of those things that there was no tutorial for that I could find. Sure, I had to like pick some pieces from there, pick some pieces from there, find a Reddit post like 6 years ago to try and come up with a solution, and I finally managed to do it by myself, like just adding stuff together. Now, is it the optimal way to do it? Maybe not, but it does exactly what I wanted to do and it works. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I didn't really like how some of the landscape looked. Like some places were very empty and I sort of struggled to add diversity to it. So I came up with a genius solution. I don't know, I think this actually made the island look pretty cool, and I think it blends in way better with everything when it's a bit more submerged into the water. The menus, very easy to add, but yeah, super repetitive, just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. I made this menu here where you can go into the options and change the graphics settings, see the controls and whatnot. The graphics settings were very important for me to add because obviously I want people to be able to try it on different builds. So if you have a lower end PC, I would recommend the first thing that you lower is the shadow quality. And I also noticed that even if you turn everything down to low, apart from maybe the FPS, it still looks really nice if you're still playing in 1080p. So yeah, I guess it just gives you a nice FPS boost. Then obviously also adding a pause menu, which you just press escape and it brings up another menu that you can restart. You can go back to the menu, mute the music and whatnot. Now about the music, I was planning on first making my own song for the game. I just kind of ran out of time, honestly, so I reached out to my buddy Jim Yosef, the legend himself, and asked if I could use his song Time for the game. And he said absolutely, go ahead, and it actually fits the track perfectly because if you get a perfect run without any fails, you actually time the end of the song at the finish line if you get a perfect run. Which I think was just a fun coincidence because yeah, the song name is called Time and it matches perfectly with the time. Did I get everything? I think I covered most of it. I mean, I've done so many things since last time. Obviously, I can't cover every single thing. You do small tweaks here and there all the time. I would estimate that I spent maybe like 100 hours on this project since February. And obviously, I would love to continue working on this game if there is an interest from you guys. And then we're talking more maps, more cars, customizations, challenges, and a bunch of other things, I'm sure, which will most likely drive me insane to add. Yes, if you want to try Apex Rush, there is a link to my itch.io page down in the description where you can download 2 versions of the game. One of them is set to daytime, the other one is set to nighttime with some nice thunder and rain to make it look a bit cooler. I'm also going to be running a little contest on my Discord server, which is linked in the description. $100 to whoever can set the fastest time, as well as $100 for the coolest clip, which could be cool flips with slow motion, timed with the music with thunder, or just, yeah, stunt jumps, lucky jumps, whatever really. Now, in order to actually enter the contest, you will need to submit a full clip of the run on YouTube. Same goes for the cool clip, because I don't actually have a leaderboard yet for the game. But yeah, you can find out more about that in my Discord, which I said is linked in the description. So yeah, that's it. Apex Rush. Go try it. If you like it, nice. If you don't, it is what it is, all good. It is my first game, so there will be some bugs, of course, but yeah, I hope you guys still have a fun time playing it. That's gonna be for today, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care.